Hi guys. So you can't really see me because I'm focusing on my cat Casper at the moment, who really doesn't care. Hello Casper. Hello Casper. So yeah, this video is about Casper, sort of, and mental health. So I just really wanted to talk about mental health and the stigma around it, and I'm sure you can sort of see what I'm getting at with the title of this video. I'm just going to try and keep it short because mental health is a really complex subject. But basically, I have complex PTSD. So a lot of people have heard of PTSD. Some people know it as shell shock, which is what it used to be called. And most people think, it's soldiers returning from war, and yeah. So PTSD is when you witness an event, normally a single event, that's traumatic. So it could be a car accident, it could be you see someone die, something that is a sort of once-off thing and is traumatic. And some people just really have problems with it and get PTSD from it. And that's not saying they're weak. They're not weak at all. Everyone's brains work differently, and sometimes people's brains just can't deal with what happened. Complex PTSD, obviously by the name, is a lot more complex. So complex PTSD normally happens when there's prolonged exposure to some sort of trauma. So it could be prisoner of war, concentration camp, going to war and fighting, family violence, abuse during childhood, that sort of stuff, where it's prolonged and you can't escape. And so I'm just going to talk a bit about that. I have complex PTSD there was a family member who was abusive towards me when I was a child. And I also was into abusive relationships as an adult. And I was diagnosed a few years ago. I think it was 2016 I was diagnosed. And I read a lot about it. And so basically some of the symptoms are you get flashbacks, you have problems with relationships, you don't trust people, you disassociate, so the other thing is I've got mild agoraphobia, which means if I can help it, I don't go out. I only go out when I absolutely have to. I've been known to stay at home for weeks. And when I got Casper, I was in a really dark place. And I wasn't sure how I was going to get out of it. It just felt like worse than when I first got diagnosed. And that can happen with PTSD as well, stress, which we all know Christmas is stressful. Change, which there's been a lot of changes in my life, can sort of make the symptoms worse. And so basically I just wanted to get rid of the stigma. Because I've had really ignorant comments. I've got friends with various mental health disorders who have sort of told me they have had the same sort of comments. people have said, oh, just be happy, just get over it. Oh, you don't need medication for that. But that's sort of the same thing as saying to someone with, like, diabetes, don't take medication, just to get over it. It's not real, and then it'll be gone. Like, that's the same thing. And that sounds ridiculous when you're talking about something like cancer or diabetes or something like that. Just because it's a mental health condition doesn't mean it's not real. Doesn't mean that people deserve less respect, etc., etc. But basically this story is about Casper. I love him so much. Anyway, so yeah, I went to a shelter to pick him up, and I thought, oh yeah, I'm saving a life, you know. And I didn't realise at the time the effect he would have on me. So, like I said before, I was put back on medication, because I'm not always on medication, but I was put back on medication, and I was still feeling low, and then I got Casper, and he has just, it's almost been like magic. Like, he's just brightened my days up, you know, completely. I feel completely different than when I first got him. Of course, I still struggle. Like, that's probably not going to change straight away, but I honestly do not think I would be here if it wasn't for my cat. And they've done a lot of psychological studies that, you know, cats are really good for anyone, really, but just therapeutically. He snuggles up to me at night, which is really cute. So I just really, yeah, there's a lot of symptoms. Post-traumatic stress disorder is really complicated. I'm actually going to put links in below. I really just wanted to post this video because Christmas is a stressful time, and there are a flare-up of mental health conditions, especially an anxiety disorder like PTSD. So don't feel like you're alone, and don't feel like you can't go to a doctor for help. Some doctors are really bad with mental health and don't understand it and just sort of blow you off and go, oh, just be happy. I'm lucky I've got a doctor who's really understanding and has a really good understanding of mental health disorders and has actually been able to help me. The other thing I did want to mention, because I only found this out and I didn't know, and I had researched a lot, is if you've got complex PTSD, it can sometimes be misdiagnosed as another sort of mental disorder, such as borderline personality disorder, because it is untreated and it is so complex. And yeah, so I just want people to know, you know, don't judge someone for having a mental health disorder, and just, yeah, be understanding. Let's get rid of the stigma around mental health. I know there's a lot of stigma in Australia. I believe there is in other countries as well. But anyway, yeah, my cat, just by him hugging up to me, giving me something to do, because I was spending my days in bed. I was spending days crying. I didn't want to go out, things like that. And I've actually gotten better since he's been here. So, yeah, I just really wanted to raise awareness for mental health. Obviously, I'm talking about PTSD because that's what I've got. I will put links in the description below about post-traumatic stress disorder. But they're on these websites, they've got all sorts of mental health disorders. So if you're not sure and you just want to learn, you know someone with a mental health disorder, you've got PTSD or another mental health disorder, or a loved one does, and you just want to understand and learn, have a look at those links. They're really informative. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I would have done a video solely on PTSD, but like I said, it's really complicated. I might do one in the future. Let me know below if you do. Follow me on social media. Yes, subscribe. I really appreciate it. And thank you to the people who have already subscribed. Every time I see someone has subscribed, it actually makes me feel really good because it feels like I'm, giving someone something they enjoy watching, which makes me feel good. So that may be for selfish reasons. I don't know. Anyway, I will see you on Friday. Something Christmassy, I suppose, since it's Christmas on Tuesday. So I will see you next time.